In True Story 4-3, we meet Barbara and her partner Heli, who are professional clowns, living out their dream of an alternative, joy-filled life with their children, laughing at what doesn't work out. But when a tragic car accident takes Heli and the children, Barbara is left alone. In the face of an unspeakable loss, her belief in humor, hope, and humanity is put to the ultimate test. Can her way of seeing the world through both its light and its shadow help her find a way to life? 4-3 is directed by Adrian Gorginja, and he has directed films such as The Best of All Worlds and The Fox, and 4-3 just debuted in the Panorama sidebar of the 2026 Berlin Film Festival. The new Austrian drama 4-3 is based on the true story of Austrian woman Barbara Park-Oberhört, who lost her husband and her 2 children in a tragic car accident. In this film, 4-3, Barbara is played by actress Valerie Pachter, and she is fantastic in this film. I'll start off with what I liked about this film. For me, the final 30 minutes of the film, when the film finally comes together and everything becomes too much for Barbara in this film, Valerie is really up to the task, and she really gives like a fiery, very emotional performance in this film. But for me, in this film, the first 10 minutes of the film is quite good because it really builds up to this really tragic accident, and the way just the camera focuses on actress Valerie Pachter and the way she really handles the situation as she's driving in her car, and as she goes to the hospital and finds out what's happened. It really is a really affecting scene, and the way she really chooses to deal with this tragedy was quite inspiring. But after these initial scenes, the film focuses way too much on flashbacks. Maybe half or even more than half of this film, it looks back to how Barbara met her husband, Heli, and when they got pregnant, and how they became clowns, and just their whole relationship. And for me, these scenes, it would have just to have like a few minutes here and there of these flashbacks would have been okay. But to spend half of the film on these flashbacks, the story of Barbara recovering, or just how to deal with the loss of her whole family, was very interesting. And every time the film went back to these flashbacks, it just lost full momentum for me, and these flashbacks didn't really add a whole lot. If I just kept watching these flashbacks in this nearly 2-hour drama, thinking, okay, if these flashbacks somehow come together at the end of the film and like enable Barbara to fully grieve from her family, then it makes sense. But these flashbacks just didn't really add anything to the film for me, and just really prevented the film from really me getting invested in Barbara's journey after losing her family. And it really does show in the final half an hour of the film, when the flashbacks finally do finish, and the film really focuses on Barbara and how she's trying to, she spends the time after losing her family trying to just move on with life very quickly. And she seems to think that her daughter will come back to life if she can somehow get pregnant again and find someone to have a child with. Then her daughter that she lost will come back in and as a child. And she does tell some people in this film, and people are concerned about her. So, and in the final 30 minutes of the film, when the film focuses on that impact, and when she can't really deal with everything that's going on, and really the impact of losing her family finally comes to her in a really big way. Valerie's performance and the final 30 minutes of the film, and her like burgeoning relationship with another man, is really quite compelling. And it really shows when the film finally focuses on that and gets rid of those flashbacks. It really is quite strong. And in the middle of those flashbacks, when you do get to see Barbara dealing with the loss of her family, it does get into some like predictable and cliched the way Barbara behaves, and maybe it just really did happen in real life. But if you had told me, okay, this woman lost her whole family and you tell me some of the ways that she would have dealt with this. It would have been sexual purpose, like sexual adventures, would have been denial, it would have been just like using humor or just forgetting about it, just moving on with your life very quickly. And this film just goes through the cliches and predictable things that you would assume that somebody did. Maybe it just would happen in real life, but because I think maybe it's just because her life was not explored as well as I would have liked because of the flashbacks. Just got in the way over time. Maybe that's the reason why. But yeah, I just felt her journey became, especially in the first half of the film, just came a little bit predictable. I give 4 minus 3, 2.5 stars out of 5. The lead performance by Valerie Pactor as Barbara is fantastic. She really carries the film. And finally, when you get, if you're patient with this film, in the final half an hour, the film is quite strong. When it just this whole journey of her life becomes too much for her, and Valerie's performance combined with this really emotional journey in the final 30 minutes of the film is really fantastic. But unfortunately for me, the first an hour and a half is really bogged down by these flashbacks that just really prevent the film from gaining any momentum and really exploring the journey from Barbara in a really meaningful way. So unfortunately those flashbacks really prevent me from liking the film as much as I would have liked. Thanks for watching. What do you think of 4 minus 3? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.